What is up, you guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'm talking about what it's going to take to get yourself in shape when you are 40 years old or plus, because there are a lot of myths, mistakes, and a lot of other stuff out there that causes people to make this a lot harder than it needs to be. And so I'm coming from the place as a person who's been an online fitness coach for the last 6 years. I've helped and have coached 1,000 people plus to help them get in better shape, create a transformation for themselves, ultimately living a better life. I specifically work with people who are, working 9 to 5s and who are busy and who have families, who are 30, 40, 50, and who are trying to get in more shape. But a lot of the time I see a lot of the same recurring beliefs, themes, and problems that can completely be resolved when it comes to actually getting in shape. So what is getting in shape? What do we mean by that? We mean a decrease in body fat to the point where you are healthier. So if you're overweight, getting to a point where you lean out to the point where you don't even need to lose weight anymore. You're not super skinny, but you're muscular and somewhat lean. I'm not talking about a bodybuilder. I'm not talking about crazy ripped or anything. I'm just saying relatively lean. You know what I mean? For the most part, you don't even have to be super lean, but just to the point where it's just okay, weight loss really isn't so much of a thing anymore. And usually you're at that place when you can see your abs a little bit, if that makes sense. That's a good rule of thumb to be okay, I'm in a spot where I don't even need to focus on weight loss ever again. The best part is that everybody can get to that point. And then getting in shape also means, improving and working on your cardiovascular, doing enough for that to make sure that you're healthy, doing enough to build muscle. So then that way you're stronger, your joints are stronger as you go. Getting more in shape also means working on your nutrition and your diet, eating enough food to actually build muscle, which is the most important part of our body to live a longer and healthier life. Ultimately, doing these things along with getting outside, getting your steps up, and just overall being more active and living a more productive and healthier life will help you get in shape. It's really easy to say, but you have to learn the things in between to make sure that you can actually make that come to life. So let's break things down a little bit. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to break down exactly the stuff that you need to be doing, and then also some of the stuff that causes people to lack. Let me just see. So you've probably been told, once you hit 40 years old, everything kind of just slows down. Your metabolism goes down the tank, you have less energy, you gain more body fat, and things just start to look a little bit not how they should when it comes to being a human being and being a healthy, thriving person. So when it comes to this kind of stuff, you have to understand, first of all, that you control your metabolism no matter if you're older or if you're even younger. You have to understand how it works. Your metabolism is simply just controlled by, there's a few things, but it's how much activity that you put out there over the course of time. And when you get older, a lot of the time you're sitting in an office, just working half the time at a computer, for the most part. That's usually how it is. And when you're doing that over the course of time versus what you were doing when you were a kid, you're all over the place with your activity, a lot more active. But when you're an adult, it's a lot more stagnant, which means that you're burning less calories over time. When you're burning less calories over time, what happens is that there's usually an increase in body weight and body fat, because you're eating as say the same, but your activity has gone down. That's just your metabolism. It's how it works, right? And when your activity goes down, obviously you're going to put on more body fat, and you're also going to lose more muscle, right? So when it comes to changing your metabolism, anybody can do that. It is possible. All you have to do is, over time, you have to increase activity, right? And then make sure that your eating is in check. When those two things are A1, then you're going to do it, right? But a lot of people believe that, when you're in menopause or perimenopause, or even when you're a male who's, in their 40s and their testosterone tanks a little bit, right? But you should get that checked if you go to the doctor to see if that's actually accurate. You blame it on the metabolism. But honestly, and also truthfully, scientifically, it's literally just because you're less active over time, not as fit, and then, your eating maybe has stayed the same or it's gotten worse. So that's where you need to look at first. What do you need to fix when it comes to your eating, and then also when it comes to your training? Because those two things make up a lot of the story here when it comes to changing your body officially and getting healthier, getting more in shape for the rest of your life. Because even when I'm 40, even when I'm 50, I'm going to be saying the same shit that I'm saying here, because this is the exact stuff that I help people with. Now, the problems that we run into is not having enough time. I don't know why my drawings keep clocking out here. It's really annoying, but it is what it is. People not having enough time. I hope you enjoy my drawing. Time is one of the biggest factors, but that's when you have to understand what it takes to build muscle, what it takes to build your cardio, at least to a healthy place, and then also at the same time, what it takes to lose body fat. So what it takes to build muscle. There's science on this, by the way, and you guys might not know it, so let's talk about it. 2 full body strength training sessions a week. 1, 2, full body, hitting your full body, not any crazy workouts, no hit, just standardized strength training with a mix of bodybuilding, you can build muscle. You'll build a little bit more muscle if you train 3 to 4 times a week, but even if you train 4 times a week, you can build the same amount of muscle as if you're training 6 times a week. Just so you guys know, but you can train 6 days a week, but you're a lot more likely to burn out and flatten out, if that makes sense. And it's just a little bit different. Usually it doesn't fit with most people's schedule when we're talking about time, right? So when it comes to time, this is where you need to change your thinking. This is a brain as a human being. You need to change your thinking about how you approach your life. And this is where people struggle a lot. Their beliefs about themselves. They struggle with how they talk to themselves about their life, how they listen, the you who is in shape versus the you now, this person is thinking differently and doing different things than this person right here. They think about their routine as something they just do and something that's really easy. You know, they just show up for it anyways. They make it work with their schedule because they took the initiative to look at their schedule and actually literally make it work for themselves. When they run into roadblocks and failures, you know, they fight through it. They're like good. You know what I mean? Like they remind themselves and tell themselves that they can make it through anything. That person in the future who's in shape is in control. This is a crown of themselves. You control yourself. You cannot control, I hated that my drawings are clocking out, but you can't control other people. You can't control things that happen to you in life. You can only control yourself, literally. And you can control your thoughts. You can control your actions. They're hard to work through, yes, but you have to in order to get better. If you have anxiety going to the gym or you lack time and, you know, it's hard for you, you'll have to spend less time probably with your partner at night. You'll probably have to get out of the house earlier. You're probably going to have to be more on top of your schedule and create a little bit of a routine and a system for yourself to accomplish your goals. And maybe you can do it with your partner, great. But the person who's in shape, the same you, is just thinking a little differently about how they approach life. You know, they don't try to control other people. They simply try to move through life peaceful and happy, but one with themselves while getting done what they need to and being at a point where even if anything comes up in life, whatever it is, they don't let it affect them. That's what they do. So it's like, how do they do that? Number one is having that routine locked in. Okay, so great. 2 strength training workouts a week. That's great because you're slammed the other days of the week. Maybe you can fit in some steps throughout the week. That's great. Guess what? Locking in on an absolute routine, a workout routine that works for you, will prove to yourself that you can do stuff even when you don't feel like it. And that alone will help you boost confidence. We're talking about changing your beliefs. You have to do that through action, but then you can only do that if you have the right plan that fits your routine. And guess what? Like literally, you have to look at your routine and also look at the facts when you're doing this. Minimum of sleep per night should be 7 to 8 hours. I'd probably say 7, maybe 6 if you're tight on time, but try to aim for 7. 7's key. If you're doing that, you have the whole day to fit in an hour workout, maybe 45, go to work for probably 8 hours, spend time with your kids and partner, and then go to sleep, right? It's enough time, but you will be more tired throughout the day. That's normal. That's called making the most out of your day. What people do though, is they seek comfort, which makes it hard for them to get in shape, which is why you make it less overwhelming by having an absolute routine that you can stick to no matter what. But a lot of people stick to comfort. After work, they want to come home, they want to relax, then they want to go to the gym, then they want to relax even more. A lot of time wasted. The person who's in shape, they live their life differently. They get the job done right away. They know what their to-dos are for the day. They know what their whole week routine is going to be. They know exactly when they're going to the gym, on what days and what time, and for how long. They wake up on time. They go to bed reasonably on time. They are consistent with their nutrition and meal prep, probably on Sundays, to make sure that they are good through the week. So then that way they can get out of the house early. They can make things faster. They can do that. That's what you have to do in order to be on top of things. And that might be a little bit different for some of you guys based on your routines, and maybe your partner makes some food for you, like whatever it is. I don't know. But that's what it takes. And then that's when you have that routine. That's how you show yourself that you actually have the ability to full circle, get in shape and get healthier. That's what it is, guys. So know your facts. Comment that in the comments. Know your facts. Workouts 2 to 4 times a week builds muscle, builds strength. Great. Why do you want to weight train? That's the only thing that will build muscle. Weight training, not shitty body weight workouts, not stupid little YouTube workout videos that's focused on yoga, not, which aren't stupid by the way, but I've done them. They're really good. I'm just being dramatic. Not like, you know, like stuff like that. Even like cardio doesn't build muscle. Weight training builds muscle, guys. And you want to build muscle because it helps you live longer. There's science on that. There's studies. It helps you burn more calories at rest. It'll help you get more in shape as you go. It'll help you feel better about yourself. And just in general, it'll help you feel better. It'll make you more limber as you go throughout the day. And this isn't to be like the most jacked person, but just to be stronger. That's it. Or just a little bit more muscle even. You know what I mean? Like that's it. That's what will help the most. Now, the other facts, nutrition, you have to make sure that you're eating the right amount of food. Something that I notice a lot with people is they undereat. What happens is they lack the energy, which is another, objection that I come across when it's like hard for people to get into the shape that they need to, even when they're 40 and they're in menopause. For example, for women, they're exhausted all the time. Like they feel drained. They feel like, a lot of the time it's because of their habits. What is this drawing doing? They're not eating. They're not working out. The routine, honestly, a lot of them, I'm not saying a lot of them, I'm not trying to call people out, but like just in general, a lot of people when they feel drained, even in menopause or whatever they're going through, they don't have the basic habits locked in. Like they're drinking throughout the week. Their sleep is all over the place. They're not getting enough sleep. It's not consistent either, which throws people off. They're not working out bare minimum 2 times a week. They're not getting outside for walks for at least 30 minutes or an hour a day. They're not drinking enough water. And those are all the basics, really. But and they're not eating enough food. They're under eating, which is one of the biggest ones. Because if you're not under eating, you're not going to have the energy to work out, to work, to this, and you'll feel exhausted. So cut the caffeine, cut the drinking, get those habits in check, sleep, nutrition, workouts, water intake. And if you do that for the next month, you'll completely flip around how you feel when you're eating the right amount of food, the right amount of calories and macros, the right amount of nutrition, the right amount of protein, the right amount of carbs, the right amount of fats, without going over, without eating shitty food. You know what I mean? Cutting down on processed foods, not drinking, not eating out, not eating fast food, like check, saving money. Boom, feeling much better. Every time I come across somebody who isn't feeling the best when they're, in their 40s or whatever it is, it's because they don't have those habits locked in. Guys, carrying 15 to 20 pounds, even 30 pounds, of body fat past 40 years old increases the risk of type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, cardiovascular disease, and joint pain. And science shows that 5 to 10% reduction in body weight when you're overweight obviously reduces blood pressure, improves cortisol, improves cholesterol, improves joints, improves how you feel, improves your lifespan, improves insulin sensitivity. If you don't address it soon, now, the compound continues and it gets harder as you go along because mentally it's really hard. It's all a mental thing. You have to, like I said in the beginning, you have to change how you think about everything. Like you do. And if your habits carry on, it's hard to change, but you can do it. It's just a little harder. Like there's large studies on how 8 to 10K steps a day massively improves your health, adds on some years onto your life. The calorie deficit will drive fat loss. If you make sure that you're in that, that's the only thing that will do it. Nothing else will. Massages won't do it. Supplements won't do it. Literally, there's science behind that. They don't help with fat loss at all. It's just the calorie deficit. Eating less than you burn throughout the day, even if you don't work out, you can lose body fat. I've helped people do it just managing their nutrition, just so you know. But it helps if you're weight training because it helps with life and living longer and feeling better. Like lifting weights improves insulin sensitivity. It boosts your testosterone, growth hormone, reduces cortisol, as in you feel better. It releases dopamine. Your body gets stronger and you reduce your stress just by weightlifting. Having good, intense, some good sweaty workouts. It also preserves bone density, so it prevents osteoporosis. And it also builds independence in your 40s and 50s. So when you get older, you can carry the groceries, you can go on the walks, you can go on the hikes. That's where I want to be when I'm 40. Just know this, cardio is like paying rent. Lifting is like buying real estate, long-term assets. So a quick blueprint before we go. 3 to 4 strength training sessions / mix of bodybuilding per week. So just 3 to 4, even 2 to 4 strength training sessions per week. Steps, 8 to 10K per day. Your diet, 3 to maybe 3 meals and 2 snacks, or 3 meals and a snack, or maybe even 4 or 5 meals a day. Anchor them in with at least 30 grams of protein, and fill the rest in with good carbs, good fats from whole foods like carbs, potatoes, good fats from butter or cheese or egg yolk or whatever it may be, and just kind of focus on eating a whole foods based diet. Also make sure to add in veggies, and then just make sure you sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. Let's say cut out drinking for the next month. See how you feel. Like, you'll feel 10 times better. Honestly, like, I only drink like once a month, maybe twice a month now. And in the past, even like a couple months ago, I was drinking like every week, where I was like getting to the point where I was drunk, and like, you notice a huge difference in how you feel. And there's been times where I've done that here and there, to be real. Honestly, it's not the best. Energy goes down the tank, guys. Like, cut out the drinking. Like, you know what I mean? Bring it back to maybe once a month. Like, drinking sucks the life out of you. It's poison, like literally. And it doesn't mean that you can't do it, but as you get older, you notice how much it affects you. And like, every week is a lot. Like, instead of using that as a coping mechanism or something to de-stress you, why not find healthier ways to de-stress you? And then you'll actually like being in the routine of health and fitness because you're enjoying it. Just to uncover some last things real quick. Not having enough time. Science shows 2 45-minute full body strength training sessions builds and maintains muscle. Something more so on the left side, more so preserving. But combining that with steps every day, that equals results. Kids and work. Listen, your kids are not going to complain about a dad or a mom who takes care of themselves, who looks like a superhero, who looks great, feels great, and shows up with a positive attitude. They're going to be looking at that person as a leader and a role model. They won't care about you taking the time 2 times a week to 4 times a week for 45 minutes each to strength train. And if you're really busy, anchoring those really like early AM workouts at like 4 or 5 a.m., like most people do who are super busy, to get it out of the way. Or at some other point in the day when maybe the other partner is free, whatever it may be, to watch the kids, right? I'll get too bulky. No, you won't. You will build muscle, lean out, look more toned, and feel a million times better. Not how you feel at all right now. Get rid of all those voices, all those negative self-beliefs. And you need to change the way you think now. Take all the facts and apply them to your life. And to follow it, you will have to tell yourself different things to get them done, because you won't want to. So then that way you can get used to it. That's how building habits works. Your choice. You could either be 40 fit, healthy, or 40 miserable and just feeling like shit. And I'm not going to be in that place. I don't want anybody to be in that place. I want people to live and breathe healthy habits that make them feel their best, look their best, and ultimately they just live a longer life. So guys, if this helped you, drop a like, comment, share your thoughts down below, whatever it may be. I appreciate any love and support that you can throw my way. I'll be putting out more videos like this. Anything else that you guys want to see, make sure to let me know down in the comments. And guys, I mean it, like for real. You'll have to change your thoughts. If you want different, you need different. If you want to change, you need to change. The way you change your life is by changing your life. All right, much love and peace out.